on the screen, we're going to put this chart talking through exactly how long it's going to take you to get to your first million after you have your first $100,000 saved. And so when we look at this chart, one thing I want you to note is we had a couple of assumptions. One assumption was that you were getting a 10% rate of return. Where did I get the 10% rate of return? Just Google S&P 500 historic returns. If you want to adjust that down for inflation, it'd be closer to a 7% rate of return inflation adjusted. After that, what we want to look at is contributing $10,000 every single year. So if this person contributed 10 grand a year, this is how they would get to this number, okay? So from 100K to 200K, it would take them 5 years to get there, and their cumulative contribution over those 5 years is $50,000. But as you're going to see, those cumulative contributions go down more and more and more as time goes on. To get from 200K to 300K, it's going to take them 3 more years. And after those 3 years, to get from 200K to 300K, it's going to take them 3 more years. Same exact investments. To get from 300K to 400K is going to take them 2 more years. So here's the crazy thing about this, is as you see this as time goes on, the progress that they're making, you can see it just starts to accelerate because get to 500K, it's going to take them 2 more years. To get to 600K, about 2 more years. Getting to 700K, about a year. 800K, another year. 900 a year. And $1 million a year. And think about this for a second. If you're getting a 10% rate of return at $1 million, you're going to see a big difference in how your portfolio compounds. Because over that time frame, all of a sudden, if you got, say, the S&P 500 did 12% one given year. In fact, last year, the S&P 500 returned approximately 17.9% to investors, okay? That was the year of 2025, last year. If you had $1 million invested in the S&P 500 and you got a 17.9% rate of return, your portfolio would make $179,000 in that given year. So you can see why this starts to accelerate as you have more money invested. Does it have to be in the same account? No, but having more dollars invested is the key. And once you get to your first million, this is really going to start to take off and compound interest is going to take over. So the faster you can get there, the more you will see your wealth grow over time. And so I wanted to show you this example, this quick example of how long it actually takes to get to that point in time once you get your first $100,000 saved, where everything else becomes a little bit easier. Now, to get to your first 100K, it depends on how much you're saving, how much money you have. A lot of you, if you are in an entry-level job or just getting started, then it is going to take you a little longer to get to your first 100K. And so you want to try to get to that first 100K quickly so that you can get to your next 100K, and you can see how much faster this progresses over time as you start to build wealth. So next, I want to get into the exact steps that I would take if I was trying to get to my first $1 million. So number one is I would believe that you can do it. There are way too many people right now who do not believe they can become millionaires, but understanding some of the facts that we just gave you and believing that you can become a millionaire is one of the most important things. 80% of millionaires did not inherit their wealth. So most people out there think that these millionaires inherited their wealth. They did not. And if you have the right mindset, your mindset is everything when it comes to building wealth, you can change your life forever. So I want you to build conviction, number one. Meaning you have the conviction inside that you are going to become a millionaire. And you say that to yourself. I am going to become a millionaire. I am the type of person, I'm going to be the first person in my family to become a millionaire. Number two is I want you to learn patience. I want you to understand how long some of this stuff takes. And the first 10 years, it's going to feel like a slog. It's going to feel like a grind. But once you get to that point in time where compound interest takes over, it is going to be so much easier for you going forward. Number three, I want you to study compound interest. I want you to take some time to get a financial education. Spend more time listening to this podcast. Spend more time learning and reading books because that is going to help you in the long run think about compound interest as time goes on. And then track your progress at least once a year, making sure that you are tracking your net worth and tracking your progress and understanding what the impact of your decisions are. But you gotta believe that you can do this because you're not gonna take action if you don't believe in yourself. So you must believe in yourself before you get started on this journey. Now, number two is your income is going to make this way easier. So if you're someone out there right now that is struggling to get by, or maybe you have a really high income and don't really know what to do with those dollars, your income is going to make this easier because the difference between your income and expenses is something we call the gap. And that gap is where wealth is built. But if you are living paycheck to paycheck right now because either you're spending too much of your high income or you don't make enough money, your income is going to be the catalyst that makes everything easier. Every single wealthy person I have ever talked to, their biggest catalyst or the best way that they leveraged their path to wealth was income. Why is that? Because you can only cut back so much. And people who are on the poverty line or people who just are not making enough money, they can't cut back anymore. But you can earn an infinite amount, meaning you can earn so much more. And so because of this, we want to make sure that we are trying to earn as much as we possibly can. So one is making sure you're on the right career path. If you are in a career path where you feel as though you will not have enough income to even survive, then it's probably time to change or reconsider your career path. A lot of people will say, hey, money doesn't make you happy. Money makes you a lot happier than you are if you're trying to live paycheck to paycheck. I promise you that. It removes stress and anxiety from your life. And if you use it as a tool and you use it properly, it'll create freedom for your life. And when you have freedom in your life, you are so much happier than folks who have to go through the grind every single day just to survive. I don't want that for anybody out there. We are not here to just survive. We are here to thrive. And so because you want to thrive, let's increase our income. So if you're on the wrong career path, I would say reconsider. Number two is to focus your time and energy on your day job, meaning learning how to negotiate your salary with your boss. We have a whole entire system on how to negotiate your salary. We have a free ebook. If you go to mastermoney.co/resources, you can check that free ebook out. I explain it step by step on exactly how to do that. But secondly, also look into your job and see, what are people above me doing right now? What are some of the things that they do that are going to help me moving forward? Look at your skills. What skills do you have in place? And can you utilize those skills to earn more money? And then if you can, consider launching a side business. Is there a business where you can earn extra income on the side that is going to help you take those extra dollars and put them towards investments so that you can build wealth? 1 in 3 millionaires, again, never earned $100,000 in a given year. But if you leverage your income and you take the difference and invest those dollars, it's going to make it so much easier. Number 3 is to adjust your portfolio to accumulate, not just preserve. So if your asset allocation is off, meaning the percentage of stocks and bonds that you have, and you don't have the right asset allocation, you are going to have a very hard time building wealth. So instead, what I want you to do is I want you to make sure that your allocation is in growth mode and not preservation mode. See, there's 2 life cycles when people are adjusting their portfolio. There's growth mode. And growth mode is when you have a higher percentage in stocks, typically, or you have real estate or businesses. Those are the types of things that you want to invest in when we're in growth mode. Then when you're in preservation mode, you can add more things like bonds, or you can add more things like cash reserves. And those are going to help you maintain your portfolio, weather downturns, and preserve your wealth so you can enjoy it and live on that money. But you, during the accumulation years, want to make sure you don't have too much of an allocation in bonds or too much of an allocation in cash. Instead, you want to get your dollars working for you so that it can grow over time. So real estate is fantastic. Stocks are fantastic. Businesses are fantastic. Those are the places you want to put those dollars. Now, number 4 is to make sure you automate your money. Money automation will change your life if you have not done it yet. And so making sure you automate a percentage of your paycheck every single month into your investments, automate your bills, and automate your savings. Those are the 3 areas that once you get those automated, you don't have to spend so much time on your finances anymore. Now, number 5 is to learn to spend on your values. Because once you learn to spend on your values, you spend so much less in these random different places. So instead, what I want you to do is to take your extra dollars and spend more on the things that you love and less on the things that you don't love. For a lot of you out there who are pursuing financial freedom or financial independence, the thing that you love is that freedom. And so spending more to buy your freedom is one of the best places you could put your dollars. Number 6 is to avoid debt if you can. So when you're on the millionaire path, avoiding debt as much as possible is very important. Now, if you want to take out a mortgage or anything like that, that's fine. But any high interest debt, any debt above a 6% interest rate, I would avoid at all costs. And the less debt that you take on, the more likely you will be able to reach millionaire status that much faster. Debt is not my favorite thing at all. In fact, the older I get, the less I like debt. When I was younger, I was willing to take on a little bit of debt to build businesses or to leverage certain things. Now, I am much less likely to take on debt than I would have when I was a lot younger. And so if you can avoid debt, that is one of the key things. Living on less than you make, investing the difference, and avoiding debt. Doing those golden rules will ensure that you can't help but become a millionaire. Now, if you do have high interest debt, then we want to make sure that we are focusing on paying that debt down aggressively. If you have credit card debt, if you have high interest student loan debt, or if you have any of that debt in your way, you want to make sure that you get rid of that so that we can start on our millionaire path and really get the ball moving. Number 7 is to understand taxes. Now, I want you to think about it this way. Over the course of the next 10 years, if you saved an additional $10,000 per year in taxes, that means you would have an additional $100,000 in opportunity costs that you could get invested or put towards your millionaire status goals. And so to do this, we need to understand taxes. Taxes are one of the cornerstones to understand, or have a CPA who understands it in your corner to take care of those things so that you don't have to worry about it anymore. Wealthy people have people on their side who are more knowledgeable than them who are going to help them through this situation. So for me, I don't like spending way too much time in the weeds on taxes. So instead, I hired a CPA who is also a tax strategist who helps me through this process. Now I actually like it a lot more because I see how much money he saves me. But at the same time, understanding tax efficiency is really, really important. So there are things like tax loss harvesting or Roth conversions or other things that you can do to make a big, big impact. Which leads me to number 8, because this is a great tax efficiency thing for a lot of people out there, is to fill up those retirement accounts. So your HSA has triple tax advantages. Your Roth IRA grows tax-free. Your pre-tax accounts mean that you save on tax in that given year. All of those are working towards your advantage and helping you add to your opportunity cost bucket. The more cash you have available to you to help you grow your wealth, the better off you're going to be long term. And so looking at those different areas can help you tremendously in the long run. Now, a couple of bonus caveats. Real estate can really help you on your millionaire path. Whether it is real estate investing, like buying single family homes, you could buy small multifamily homes, you can house hack and reduce your housing costs. All of those will improve your chances of becoming a millionaire very quickly. And then number 2 is business ownership. If you have a business that's successful or that's earning some sort of income, even if it's earning a couple $1,000s a month, in addition to your day job, that is going to be a huge wealth multiplier when it comes to getting to your first $1 million. And so finding ways to earn more so that you can take those extra dollars and put them towards your investments is going to change your life forever. So those are the steps that I would take if I was going to try to get to my first million as fast as I possibly could. The faster you want to get there, the more you need to earn. Your income is what's going to get you there faster because you can take that difference and put it towards wealth building activities. Listen, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. I hope you learned a ton about how real millionaires act and some of the things that you can do and some of the big takeaways that you have today to get to that point in time. If you want to know what you need to do with your next dollar, and if you want to have an understanding of how to manage your finances, I highly encourage you to join Master Money Academy. Master Money Academy is our community where people are learning what to do with their next dollar, in addition to doing weekly calls with me. And we have small groups where people who have common goals are working on those same exact common goals. It is the ultimate place for those who are pursuing financial independence, who really want to make sure that they are doing the right things with their next dollar. So I highly encourage you to join Master Money Academy if you have not already. We will link it up down below in the show notes, and I would like to invite every single one of you there. Would love to see you on our next coaching call. We do coaching calls every single week with me live. So would love to see you there.